Namaste, beautiful souls. Oh, I'm feeling really joyful because I'm joined by JJ Brighton. And JJ, wow, you're amazing. You're a multi-dimensional channel. You share and mentor about light language. And I've been reading up and learning about you and connecting to your energy. And I love that you help people to remember their soul blueprint and connect with their multi-dimensional nature. So I feel like we'll cover all of this together today. Welcome into this beautiful space.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to be here, Natalie. So grateful and just feeling excited about this place and space that we're weaving together today. I can already feel so much crystalline energy dropping in. So, such an honor to be here.
Oh, I can feel it as you talk about it. Yeah. Wow. So everyone who's watching and listening, be aware of what you start sensing because I'm already starting to feel this crystalline energy being embodied. So this is going to be an activation, not just something that you hear or intellectually understand. Yeah, and I feel like beginning with you, JJ, like what woke you up to remembering your multi-dimensional essence and light?
Wow. Well, I know that's a question that a lot of us on this path and holding these blueprints get asked, right? Because sometimes there's like a marked difference between, where we were and where we are now. And I have to tell you, as I reflect on that question, I think I really, truly always felt and knew who I was, but I didn't always feel safe to express those templates to the world. So I think my awakening was less about knowing who I was and what I came to do, and more an awakening that it was time to begin to actually offer those to the world, and not just offer them, but feel confident and have the courage to do so and know that they were ready to hear it and receive it.
I
And that
love that.
happened, I guess, and pause. And I'm like, and I better answer the rest of that. Um, Gosh, when did that happen? Honestly, around 40 years old. So this was almost 10 years ago. And at about 40, I mean, I know a lot of people say that age is pretty significant for them. It was for me. By that time, I had had 8 children. I had felt like that was going to be my life. That was my life up to then, birthing and, raising these kids. And I pretty much saw that for this foreseeable future, it would all be all kids, all day, every day. And I knew that those seeds were there to be expressing myself in a different way for humanity beyond just what I was doing in my own home. But I wasn't sure how. And of course, I'll say this, and I know a lot of people will resonate. COVID hits, and I just felt this call to share. I've always been a writer. I've enjoyed speaking, doing podcasts or presentations. I've been a teacher. So that was very natural for me. I felt like it was just necessary in order to process. I needed to share it. And it didn't matter how many people listened to the podcast or read my blog. I just needed to get it out there. And little by little, just simply by word of mouth, no one in my family, no one in my immediate vicinity knew what I was doing. I was very incognito. I just started sharing and trusting that the algorithm, and that my team would take the message to whoever needed it. And now I'm here where I am today with a beautiful community, beautiful weaving that I've done with so many people from all around the world. And I will say, honestly, I don't think I ever foresaw me getting to this point. I knew that I had this message. I knew I would be getting it out there, but the places I've been, the people I've met, the ways that this message has been expressed in and through the different platforms and different communities I've been a part of, honestly, it's quite awe-inspiring sometimes to me. And now I'm here with beautiful people like you.
Oh, I love it so much. And do you know what? That's going to inspire so many people because often someone in my community will say, Well, I want to get my message out. I want to be the light that I am, but I'm nervous and you know what? It's like just take the first
Yes.
step. Yeah, because I the same happened for me. If I had known it was going to grow like this, it maybe would have like affected my nervous system and but
Yeah.
I never knew. I feel like as psychics or clairvoyants or seers or whatever the words are, we don't need to see so far because there's this feeling of like, oh, just trust. And
Hmm.
yeah, there's this other feeling of everything already exists in the field right here, right now,
Hmm.
which helps one to feel so full that there is no lack. There's you
No.
don't need to push or strive. You can just remember. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, 100%. The presence is actually the most fulfilling part of this journey, I guess you could say, is just the presence in the now moment. And that's actually where the magic is. I've found that as I've become more present in my everyday life and even more present in the exotic places that I live, but it doesn't have to be, I'm sorry, not that I live, but that I go visit. It doesn't have to be there. You don't have to go to exotic places to experience the magic of the world. But it's really beautiful that all day, every day, being present gives you that sense of magic and that sense of wonder and that idea of really being in the present moment and not seeing too far ahead, because everything really is now. I love that you reflected that. I 100% agree.
The question that's coming in, the angels are right here quite strong. I can just feel
Oh,
they're
yes.
like, ask this. So yeah, could you share like a practice or a tool or a way to help people to like be experiencing presence or like to bring awareness into presence?
Mm. I would say that the most powerful training ground for teaching presence and learning presence and being present is with Gaia in nature. And I notice that you sometimes do your videos outside. I also sometimes do my videos outside. I was this close to joining you from outside. I had to go to one of my kids' performances at school. And so I didn't have time to get to a spot where I could do it outside. But if you spend enough time in nature listening, it is so easeful and effortless to learn, quote unquote, remember how to be fully present. That will absolutely ripple into every aspect of your life. So the more I've been able to spend time in nature, whether with my family, with people on beautiful journeys around the world, or just with my husband or by myself, it doesn't matter. No matter what, that is my go-to. And I can sometimes just go walk outside my front door because a lot of people are in circumstances or jobs and they're like, but JJ, I'm not able to spend hours in nature. I'm not saying you have to spend hours in nature. You can find 10 minutes. You can spend 10 minutes scrolling on your phone or you can spend 10 minutes taking a walk outside. And I have allowed myself to use those little 10-minute increments to step outside my front door. And sometimes if I have 2 hours, I drive to the trail and I go on a hike. And sometimes if I have 2 weeks, I go to the Azores.
Love it.
But that's the life I've created for myself. That's taken some time. When I had lots of little kids at home, I had to find ways to weave everything in. And that's what's taught me, like, even if it's just going outside, I have a couple of big boulders on my front lawn. Just touching one of those boulders, just touching the tree right outside my front door. Those are simple ways to bring yourself into presence and to really allow yourself to be, I guess you could say, rewired, because a lot of us have that other programming, to be rewired into full presence, into a regulated nervous system, into full receptivity and awareness of this beautiful field, this unified field of creation of which we are a part. So that would be my number one tip.
Oh, I love it so much. Thank you. I can feel the energy of the boulders in your
Yes,
garden. Yeah. Wow, that is very grounding. And so expanding and talking about the unified field and the multidimensional self and um what could you explain? Because maybe some people don't know about their multidimensional nature and um how like what it is, how they can connect with it, like where does it expand to? Could you share some more about this with us?
absolutely. Well, I think it's really important for us to understand sort of the different laws of the universe. One of the predominant ones that people know translated into more, basic terminology is as above, so below, as within, so without. So, what I like to remind people is think about your physical body. And if you've studied even in basic education, no matter how long ago that was for you, all the different cells, the different muscles, the different bones, and all the aspects of your inner body, physical body, and you think about how diverse that is. That is just a reflection of who you are also in an outward way as part of what you may call a oversoul, or I like to see it like a mandala, this beautiful fractal of creation. And so when you open your eyes to the outer self being as diverse as the inner self physical body is, you realize that in coherence with all of those parts of you gives you such a feeling of peace and balance, where I think removing this remembrance that we're multidimensional souls and only seeing with our physical eyes what scientists say we are, it feels imbalanced. That's why I think so many people are going back to, well, if I'm this multidimensional physically, then I'm this multidimensional energetically as well. Come on. Like you cannot pick up the stick one end of it only. You pick up both ends at the same time. We're both of those things. And so I like to use that as the analogy. Now, then you kind of start tiptoeing into the realm where I started was, you know, angelic realms was very familiar to me being raised in Christianity. And then after that, more cosmic realms, star beings, ascended masters, and even to the level of elemental beings. Like I said, so much of my journey has been connected to fairies and dragons and those things we don't always see with our eyes, but we can feel with our heart. That's all part of this multidimensional landscape. And we are a thread that's woven in, around, and through all of that. And when we open you could say your awareness, your vision to the other parts of you, because there's no beginning and there is no end to you. And sometimes that might cause you to pause and say, wait a minute, because we're taught like my fingertips are where I end. Your fingertips are not where you end. Your physical vessel is not where you end. And that's the crux of multidimensionality. Do you know what is such an amazing effect of being aware of your multidimensional expressions and self? You start to realize that I am you and you are me and we are we and we are one. And that's how we repair all of this separation and wounding that has brought this planet and this collective to a kind of a place of incoherence for the time being, that we're really working together now to say, I am you. There is no separation. It's not us versus them. It's all one. It's all unity consciousness. So even in understanding our multidimensionality, we are really going back to oneness. And it seems like a paradox, but that's really what these other levels of mastery are about. It's entertaining paradox. Everything and nothing, a multiple things and one thing all at one time. So that's why this is such a passion for me, to help people understand multidimensionality, because it's repairing so much of the separation that's caused the trauma and the lower density timelines that we know are happening, in our field.
Well, there's a few things here that I want to go deeper into. When you started saying we don't end here, I I see the light around the fingers, and I feel like if I share this, maybe others can also play with it. Because so at nighttime, turning off the bedside light and then staring at the hands and seeing the gray fuzziness, the energy around, and then I move my hand like this and I see streams of light moving all around, and then I kind of bring my hands together like this, and the light touches without my fingers touching. So yeah, we really are these light beings. And I also love what you said about going through the paradox. Um, I find with spiritual awakening, you you go through this realization that I am, and you remember, like, oh, I'm an infinite being. Wait, hold on, but I'm having a finite experience. I'm both.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
that's so key. If you don't leave room for paradox, it can feel quite overwhelming and quite a little bit like awkward, or you can feel a sense of like conflictedness, but it's like as long as you can hold space for that paradox, which is really non-duality at the end of the day, which is obviously a very, common word that people use. It exists in many different faith traditions, particularly in Eastern thought. But yeah, it's that idea that you can be both at one and you don't have to take sides. And it helps us to be completely honest with you, release so much of that religious programming that humanity is no longer needing in this particular phase of our evolution. It's time to bring to completion and graduate from this idea of what's true and what's false and come into a space of understanding paradox, of understanding balance and 0 point, and this unified field of consciousness that is all an expression of the one, all that is.
Yeah. So having the understanding that each human is consciousness experiencing itself in a different way, and that all is welcome, all is allowed, because all is from consciousness, all is of consciousness. So yeah, it one of the big ones that I noticed people start getting ruffled about and they can't really grasp is like there is no right or wrong.
Yeah.
Do you feel like going into that a little bit?
I'm happy to go into that. I have an interesting story. Recently, I've been approached by different podcast platforms and different shows. And there are definitely shows that promote more of the duality, which that's their template, right? They're doing their thing to show up in the way that their soul contracted to show up for humanity. But my template, my blueprint, like you said, that's something I'm really passionate about, is helping people understand their blueprint, is one, not to criticize theirs because I don't do that, okay? Because you got to watch yourself, because when you decide that you're stepping into a framework where there's really no true or false, for instance, you have to say, I'm going to watch myself, because am I then going to judge everybody else who believes in duality? Because that's another level. You
Yes.
still aren't playing that game either, because if you sat there and said the only way to think is non-duality, then you put yourself right back into duality, because you're pitting duality against non-duality. It is a complete mind bender of an experience. But I really appreciate going into this space. And I honestly don't even feel a need when say you ask me this question and I'm showing up here for your audience and saying, okay, JJ, tell us what you think about it. You guys, it's way beyond words. And when Natalie said at the beginning, did you start to feel something behind the scenes happening in this weaving that we're talking in English about? There's an energy flowing in, and much of what I've felt myself doing, or at least my field holding lately, is very much telepathic, nonverbal, energetic. templates. And so as I am just talking here, you may begin to feel your body respond to the concept of non-duality, unity consciousness, call it what you will. And I want you to notice being in a field with two people who are holding in their hearts the all that is, and the all acceptance of all creation, and the acknowledgement of all as an aspect of creation. Notice what your nervous system is doing right now, because we're not attaching. I think that's the biggest thing, non-attachment. Again, everybody knows those words. Everybody's read about that, heard about that. Non-attachment is so soothing to our nervous systems, especially right now. I'm going to be completely honest, especially right now with what's going on in the world. That's number one for us, is to keep that nervous system regulated. Take those breaths and hold this field, whether we're on our own or in beautiful weaving co-creations like we are right now, you and I, but also expanded to the greater audience that's going to listen to this podcast. We're holding a field of possibility for a world of peace, harmony, and coherence that already exists. And we're reminding our body that it is existing. And we're less anxious about when is it happening? When is it happening? When is it happening? And we know it is already here and it is already now. Just let your body teach you, because your body will teach you more than I can teach you and more than Natalie can teach you.
Yeah, absolute truth. The whole energy field has gotten lighter and expanded. And so we are receiving and experiencing and remembering deeply. And you mentioned about soul templates and blueprints, and is it different, or is it the same as like soul purpose or soul mission? And yeah, could you share a bit about soul templates and our blueprint and how we can connect with it and understand it and work with it from that space?
Sure. It's absolutely been a game changer for me. I think because of programming, all being raised in this society that we've been raised in, the educational systems that exist on the planet. I mean, I had a fairly traditional education. My personality, and part of this religious programming that I grew up with, would be less conducive to understanding how to honor everyone's unique soul blueprint, and more kind of guiding you towards fitting into like a cookie cutter mold, right? Everybody needs to fit into this cookie cutter mold. And what I love about the concept of soul templates and soul blueprints is knowing and understanding that your superpower is your unique soul template, your unique frequency. And your unique frequency and how you express it is not dictated to you by an outside source. You get to decide how that unique frequency, template, purpose is carried out. And I have been feeling over the last little bit the importance of people understanding it's not always about doing. We hear about this all the time, the masculine, the feminine, the doing, the being. That I feel sometimes in people this level of anxiety start to come up when we talk about, I don't know my soul purpose, or how do I do my soul purpose? I'm like, well, but can you just honor that if you just let go and set yourself free. Your frequency is number one, and all you have to do is exist on the planet, and you're doing your soul purpose. The rest is for fun. The rest is so your inner child can play and create and make friends and travel the world and make podcasts and write books and do art. But just entertain the possibility with me for a moment that your soul purpose, and yes, I'll talk a little bit about how to refine maybe an understanding consciously of what that is, but it's already happening right now. And notice again, what are we noticing? Notice what your nervous system does when I say to you, thank you for existing on this planet. That is your purpose, and you're doing it. What? You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to move. You don't blah, 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 blah. All these things people think they have to do when they see other spiritual gurus or people, like they did this and they did that. And JJ created a podcast and JJ makes all these videos and she's doing her soul purpose. You could walk dogs for a living and be just as powerful of an influence on this planet as somebody with 1 million followers in the spiritual realm. Okay, so that's like number one. Now, I will tell you right now that your soul template, if you wanted to put English words to your unique frequency of God source that you're bringing to the planet, because what happened at this special time for Gaia is a call was sent out to our galaxy and beyond our galaxy, to all creation, to weave the most exquisite tapestry of souls, to carry out a planetary level ascension without a full physical death. Right?
Goosebumps, full body
Right?
goosebumps.
And just picture this beautiful
Ooh,
tapestry of iridescent threads. How boring would it be if everybody was Pleiadian or everybody was angelic or everybody, whatever? So yes, you have your soul origin, you have the frequencies you're carrying from different planets, different lifetimes that you've lived. I mean, right now, I just feel called to have you close your eyes and begin with something as simple as the color frequency that is the predominant color frequency thread that you're contributing on the planet right now. I can see mine. And it might change in a year. I'll be completely honest with you, the rate we're going. But right now, in this now moment, what color is your thread? Mine is an aquamarine with some gold. So it can be more than one. What color is yours, Natalie? I'm curious.
it's turquoise
Mm,
with this like pink golden, yeah, pink golden light. Turquoise, pink
uh-huh.
golden.
So ours
Yeah.
have some overlapping part. Yeah, this is why we're in each other's field. This is why we were called to do this, because we're probably adjacent soul family cousins, to the templates we hold. Those of you here might have gotten similar colors to what we just said. If you got a different color, there's nothing wrong with you. If you got like brick red or, deep purple or whatever, that's okay. Hold that, hold the color. Remember, we don't want a boring tapestry. We want a bright, colorful tapestry. So when you get that color frequency and you really feel that in all of your cells just vibrating, then you ask, even on a daily basis, what's the next thing that I need to know about what this color frequency is related to? So I'll walk you through how I would do mine, okay? And then you guys can play with this as a template itself of discovery, of how to articulate to others, because sometimes it's really fun when you go into spaces like this for me to say to Natalie, right now I'm feeling the template that I'm holding my unique frequency can be expressed through light language is one of the templates I hold. Soul expression through voice is another word you could say. Light language, Lemurian templates, golden Atlantean templates, golden seraphim. Those are just words. that I'm bringing in to give you a flavor of my unique soul purpose, my templates. Divine Mother is really at the forefront of that. And I will tell you how I know Divine Mother, because some of the things you've done in your life up until this point that may seem very mundane. I work at the post office. I'm a gardener, whatever it is. Those are clues. You guys, come on. Nothing is an accident. Those are clues about your unique soul blueprint, because even if it feels very grounded, very earthy, very human, very mundane, as above, so below. As above, so below. And in part of your awakening, you're going to see that every single role you've played in your life up until this point has been part of that soul frequency template purpose. That, yes, it will shift and change and morph over time, but honestly, no phase is lesser than any other phase. So then guess what happens when you start to heal your relationship with your past and how you carried out your purpose, where we tend to go, I wasn't awake, I was in density, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. That was all part of it. What happens when you start to witness your past as such a sacred path? What happens? It completely transforms who you are today. It's like retrocausality, Mandela effect, and what we call like ancestral healing, healing of the past, healing inner children, wounding, all of that. That's what happens. And you will feel the ripples backwards, forwards, sideways, all the ways as you become aware and begin to honor however you have expressed your unique frequency in this lifetime and in other lifetimes. I will just say that.
You know what? It reminds me of when I was younger, so like some of my first jobs, like when I was 11, I went to the neighbors and I was washing cars or taking the dog for a walk. And then later on, when I could like have a job, so I think 15, 16 years old, went into waitressing and was a waitress and that the key of that is being of service. So yeah. So it's really interesting for everyone to look at all the little things that you've done throughout this life, because there's like a root core energy frequency which is the soul purpose. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, it's like I tend to find we overcomplicate things when it's really actually very simple.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then when someone like reconnects with their original soul template, you were talking about then how it ripples out in so many different ways. Like, do you have an example of someone like how it changed their life, or sharing ways in which you've seen all these years, like how in which kind of ways, like grounded ways people's lives have changed?
Ooh, that feels like a deep question, and I don't know why. I
Mhm.
feel a little bit of resistance from the collective consciousness because it feels like we're holding a little bit of templates of victim or martyr that are
Mm.
keeping us from honoring all of the phases of our life. So before I even do that, I'm already sensing something coming through the heart that wants to be seen in everybody listening here, where I think it probably requires a level of, you could say, graduating from those templates before we can truly see the change, before we can truly see with clarity and with a new eyes, what you just mentioned, how you can see the difference. So maybe just take a quick moment if this
Mm.
resonates with you, and if you're
Mm.
listening, to notice where you might personally still be attached to templates of victim or martyr or bad luck always attracting the wrong people. You know those programs that you've probably said when you tell your soul story. You maybe go to somebody and say, well, I always do this, or this always that indicates attachment to stories. So in order for us to rewrite the story, which is what you just asked me, how do you rewrite the story? How do you rewrite the story? You close the chapter, or you finish the book from the old story so you can start the new story. You have to do that. And you really don't have to leave it behind. I see it almost like a graduation. So you honor it, you see it, you witness it, you archive it into your Akashic records as part of who you are. You don't need to burn it up. It's part of the wisdom that you've acquired has come through experiencing this, all the texture and all of the different types of things you've experienced in any density. Just notice for a moment. Even through sensations of the body. So I'm feeling some right here in my own head and my jaw.
I can feel it here, throat
Mm-hmm.
chakra.
And the way I operate and the way that I hold space, I don't push through what wants to what wants to arise and be seen. The Divine Mother has time to see everything and anything that needs to be seen. She doesn't bulldoze through just to get something done. So I didn't want to bulldoze through the energy that I'm feeling just to answer your question. Because maybe you asked that question just so we could do this, not because the question needs to be answered. That's kind of what I think. Because I don't have that good of an answer, but hopefully just this little practice is supportive to some of you.
I'm getting such a strong yes, this is exactly it. This is exactly it. It's
Oh,
it's being tender and loving and being the Divine Mother for ourselves as well, just softening and going, okay, wow, something's coming up. I'm feeling a lot in my body. Or I'm repeating a pattern and it keeps repeating. And that tender softness, that lovingness, that is what actually then dissolves the pattern. But sometimes we can be
yeah,
so hard on ourselves and we can be like, oh, there I am doing that again. And
yeah,
when am I going to change? Well, whew, if we're hard like that with ourselves, then that's really it kind of like keeps the pattern inside. So
yeah.
what we're being asked to do is rather soften, because in softening there's expansion, and in this expansion, the letting go happens naturally. It actually, when all we need to do is recognize the pattern, and then the letting go happens by itself because we're
Yeah.
just soft and loving and kind with ourselves. Yeah.
It does. It does. And sometimes questions don't need to be answered with words either.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm finding that more often than not. Yeah, that is the piece of like 2026. That's the energy.
Yeah.
Like what have you been picking up and feeling and sensing around like what's happening this year? Like what's available to us? What's opening for us as a beautiful human species?
Mm. Hmm. Well, I really appreciated the video you did with Pam and Kelly. I saw that was a few weeks ago, and I know you were tuning into the same thing. What does 2026 hold?
Mm.
I know that it has a lot of quantum leaping and compressed time. I am about to announce something on my platforms that is quite revolutionary in my opinion. It is a very different template to what we're used to, but it is required due to the pace at which the frequencies are shifting. And basically, what I have been shown is that the majority of my transmissions are only meant for live receiving, and I am not to provide playbacks. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Because everything's changing so fast.
Yes. It doesn't apply the next day.
Yeah.
It kind of blew my mind, and it was a little bit scary because, when you create content, one, you put a lot of work into it and you're like, well, I want it to be, live on. And they're just saying, nope, increase the content, first of all, and don't do playbacks. Like, not only don't do playbacks, but give updates more frequently. Tune in almost every single day. And I'm like, whoa. So
Wow,
there's a lot
that's a
of
lot.
things changing. By the time this comes out, that will all be known, by I'll have announced it, I should say.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
my point is that I don't feel like I'll be the only one doing it. And it's reflective of the pace at which we are going. This might be why I keep thinking I'm going to write a book, but it's not happening. Nothing
Wow.
against writing
Amazing.
books, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah. You and I are in so much resonance. I've got half a book that started in 2011, another bit of a book that's about spiritual awakening, which I know can help so many, but it's like, no, no, not now. So that's amazing. And then JJ, I totally agree. So I used to do one like a monthly energy update. So I would
yeah,
sit before the month begins and like feel into and forecast what's going to happen. And then in December 2025, the angels are like, no more of that. 2026 is going too fast. You need to just do little mini energy updates to keep people understanding
yes,
what's happening. This is
yes.
it. This is
The
amazing.
identical. Well, it's amazing that we can, basically substantiate a sort of a reflection that was a theory or whatever that we got, and substantiate it with two witnesses confirming it,
Yeah.
right? And I have no doubt there are other people doing that. I was shown, interestingly enough, when you say update. So I've been invited by my team and to lean into the idea of the daily, updates, like more consistent updates on a more of a regular basis, right? Not just once a month. What I do on a monthly basis for the time being, honestly, it could change any moment. This is what I've told my community from day one. If there's something we do a lot and we do well, it's change. I'm always changing. I really am. I mean, the only people that are with us are the people who are like good with change, because I'm like, guys, you know what you can depend on? Change. And so here's another change. But I've called them energy blueprints because that gives us kind of a loose feeling of, one, you're in the driver's seat, you're the architect, we're the architects. What is the blueprint we're building out together? I'm not here just predicting for you, right? Like, I can do updates, there's nothing wrong with it, but there was something about that sort of main thing that I do once a month on my podcast that I call a blueprint. So it's really this invitation to go, it's not in stone, but here's sort of a theme we can converge around. How are you going to build that blueprint out this month for you? What does that look like? Because again, everybody's looking for predictions. It's not about predictions. I mean, and there are a lot of channelers who agree with what I'm saying. I was at an event a couple of months ago with Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar, and Bashar was saying the exact same thing. The reason why he's wearing 2027 t-shirt, because he is saying it's not just that the disclosure will happen in 2027. It's that I'm creating that we're together creating that reality by wearing the shirt that says 2027. That's what he's doing, and he sells those now on his website. But I have an opinion about that. I think we're quantum leaping so fast. I think official disclosure from the government is probably going to come in 2026, not 2027.
Goosebumps. Oh, I can feel it. So many people right now are are connecting to their star families,
Yeah.
are feeling, yeah, are like are seeing ships and connecting. And yeah, oh, I actually would love to talk about star families, and because I know that you're also very connected. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yes, 2026, it's feeling like it's already happening. And then let's see, yeah, because
Mhm.
what the angels have said, and the Arcturians, because I channel both and they seem to come down together. They're saying that this year is the year where truths are uncovered at quite a rapid rate. So that makes sense then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting, even the word truth, where I'm really being guided to use really specific language that's not as dualistic. And there's nothing wrong with saying truths. Sometimes I still use words from the old way to bridge to the new. So I still will say things like true. You can't just like pick through all of everything I say and be like, JJ, you said don't say that word. I will say that. But when you said truths, I immediately saw veils lifted. That's it. It's just veils being lifted, veils being lifted, veils being lifted. And that's happening in like current news media, right? Like with everything that's happening right now and all of this revealings. So it's really just a veil. The veils are dissolving on so many aspects of what people would call the quote unquote matrix, right? And the funny thing is that it's all holographic reality. So it's just like we've been in this one level of the holographic reality, and we're in the video game, and we're like, oh, there's a there's a totally other level now. Are we ready to graduate from this? Oh yeah, like let's finish this one so we can go to the next level. But it's
Yeah.
it's about that, and I feel the same thing with 2026 when you say that. And I love that you work with the Arcturians. They're my star family, and my first main galactic family to channel was the Arcturians.
Oh, amazing. Another beautiful connection.
Yeah.
And I would love for you to share with everyone how they can connect with their star families, like what star families are, what star families are helping us with, and like if they're helping us to expand our consciousness for ascension, or if they're helping us to become more embodied, to bring like descension in a way. I'll just
Yes.
let you flow
Yes.
with all of that.
Absolutely. I first and foremost, if it's okay, I'm really tuning into this group that I know will be listening to this because I can feel your audience. And
Mm.
obviously my audience, I'm sure will be listening. So our combined, I feel that your frequency lends itself to gathering predominantly very crystalline beings, very angelic beings. So maybe not as connected to what traditional star families that are the common ones. I feel like some of the people in the field that I'm sensing here outside of time and space, that are going to be listening to this, fall under different categories. And so I would invite them to think outside the box. I'm getting a lot of ping around you are very connected to the crystalline children, which they are sort of like angelic, but not. They're very unique. There's a level of dragon energy, but it's not this normal dragon energy that I feel in your field as well. And that I think you again would attract people with something similar. But the dragons feel semi-angelic, but also crystalline. And a Sophia energy. That's a very crystalline Sophia energy coming through. With regards to what you said, it's extremely important for people to fully understand and own their unique frequency. Why? Because you cannot compare yourself. You may actually be a part of the collective that doesn't need to be talking all the time about this groundedness as much as others. You may be that balance point to be a little more etheric. So don't judge yourself if you feel like you're a little floaty. Now, if you're uncomfortable in your body, that's a whole other subject. That's a whole other subject. But if you're not out there doing all these practices that other people are doing that are very earthy and grounded, follow your intuition. I mean, like plant medicine stuff. Many people in your frequencies, they're not guided to do plant medicine. That's not their journey. That's not their path. Own it. Listen to your body when it says no. You know, maybe going to some of these really grounded, earthy, like music festivals, that's not for you either. And that's okay too. So really be confident in your unique template. That's why knowing it, by the way, when I said like pick the color, then find out more, it allows you to gain confidence in your specific path when it sometimes diverges from people you see on Instagram or even from your friends. And you might say, is something wrong with me? I don't feel called to do ayahuasca. I don't think this is the thing for me. I'm not listening to this podcast. It just doesn't resonate with me. When you fully own who you are, you know, and what you're doing, then it allows you to be comfortable with that. Now, I would say for this particular demographic that I'm tuning into, this very crystalline, angelic energy, you may be less inclined to be in large groups of people, to be in thousands. I don't, that's not my template. I am super good to be in big groups. But if it's your template, you know, it's more probably if you are, it's going to be outside. If you're with a bunch of people, it's outdoors. It's with the sky and with the trees and with the expansiveness of things. If you end up going to a community, you know, group thing. The other thing I'm getting is the importance of being in water, in water. The importance of connecting to the frequencies of Lemuria and the places on the planet that carry Lemuria. If you feel exhausted, and you're in this category that I believe so many of your people following you are in, angelic starseeds, crystalline starseeds, etc., I want you to consider opening yourself up to travel to a location that is very connected to Lemuria, crystalline energy, crystalline waters, because I think I'm just recommending you may need a little more self-care in those pristine areas of Gaia to charge you back up so you can go back to your human stuff. So I see you nodding all over the place, and I just kind of spouted all that off. So I'm going to stop and let you tell me what resonated and what you got off of all of that.
Well, I love that we went from like star family straight to crystalline angelic because
Yeah,
that is
sorry, that's that's it.
that is absolute truth. Um and it's so interesting because when you spoke about also the water and the being in nature, I am being guided to run a retreat and it's called Returning to Source and it's in Costa Rica. And it's where the ocean meets the jungle. And yeah, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to run a retreat in like a closed, like yes, some of the rooms are closed, but they're all
Yeah.
glass windows. So you're totally looking at this incredible view because I don't want to be like in a conference room with the AC turned up and you have to wear 5 layers.
Mhm.
And so you end up going like this. I've been to that and
Mhm.
I run away from it. So yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, so much is just about being in nature.
Confirmation,
Yeah,
confirmation.
yeah. Being in nature,
Uh,
just being with the beautiful crystalline dragons and the angels and it's so beautiful. Thank you so much because I feel like everyone here is probably vibrating saying, "Yeah, I can feel it."
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I see you and I see your uniqueness. And I see that sometimes when you go into these spiritual realms, you feel like you don't even fit in there, that there's something different, that you hold something different that's just in the baby phases for humanity. But people like you, Natalie, are holding that frequency in those templates as a mirror to so many of these crystalline beings. And we're paving the way for these crystalline beings who, even to a higher frequency, are now being incarnated into bodies as little babies on the planet today. So we're paving the way and being way showers frequency wise for mass waves of people like you. I know you're not in the majority right now, even in the spiritual realm, but they're coming and they're coming and they're very grateful for what you're doing and how you're holding the frequency here.
Oh, I feel like tears of love in my heart because, wow, it's actually been hard. Thank you so much for seeing me. Because I really, from such a young age, felt the love and the light and knew that like, I know there comes the word truth, but the way. And and so I've been like from 18 years old, so I'm now 44, so it's been a while that I've been going,
Mm.
hey, this is the way. And then just recently uh people are going, oh wow, okay, wow, Natalie's really doing something here. And so it's like it feels lovely to be able to support so many people because I've known it since I was a little girl, that's what I'm here to do. And then for people to be so ready to receive, because it's very high frequency that I bring in, and I can
Yes.
understand sometimes that some people are like, whoa, that's a lot. Whoa, like I've just had a major crack through and breakthrough. So yeah, I feel like more and more people are starting to go, okay, I'm ready to hold more of the light that I am, and then they're coming to me, and I'm like, yes, it's happening. I don't have to be here alone. I can be here with community, and it feels so good to be in community in this high frequency space.
It does. It does. And I have found over the last 5 years of the work that I have done, I have had off and on, I've had beautiful souls like yourself come. And I again, that's why I feel like I can really honor you because I've seen who you are, and I know that it doesn't always fit in the mold and that it doesn't sometimes feel like there's a place for you. You just have to create it like you did. You created the place for you. And that's what pioneers do. They create the place. It's not already there for them. And there's so much divine child frequency embedded in these templates that is the key
Mm,
to the new earth.
that's big. So I'm aware that we're coming towards the end of our time together, just loving this space and this time. And what I feel like, is there anything more you'd like to share about the new earth, or just opening up to anything else that wants to come through, that to be shared to our community here in this space?
Mm. I have a witness from the Lemurian star mothers that wants to come through in light language. And so I'd like to just share that to close off our time together. Kiana lai tu loiana tai. Shi iru koroyanai. Sairo kur nalahai tiar stodrai. Nagri tol oleatarai yashna hara. So giarai tnal. So ol halai tnal. Kiari tanalai tanalal. Shoro yanahai. Sio oro. Anshiayara. Ashe. 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 Hmm.
Wow, thank you so much. Everyone, let's take some beautiful deep breaths in and out to just be, surrender and flow with this light, with this love. Rest in this container that we are creating all together, and deeply honor yourself. Honor, love, and soften to the beautiful being that you are. And anyone who's in deep resonance, you're welcome to write to JJ and I in the YouTube chat. Just share what you've been feeling, what's resonating. Maybe you want to share your color or your soul template, or yeah, just sharing some of your light, your color, your essence into the field in a third dimensional way, because you've already done it energetically. And then also I feel inspired to ask who's coming to the New Living Expo, because JJ and I are
Yes.
going to be there. JJ, I'm speaking on Sunday, the 19th of April. When are you going to be speaking?
Well, I have the honor of doing a presentation on the 18th on Saturday. Myself and my friend Julie, we're doing back-to-back workshops that are focused on children. And so we're inviting children to come because we really want to bring in the essence of the divine child and the crystalline children. But it's for adults too who want to be in touch with their divine child. But it's very unique, and we wanted to bring in a template that was more family inclusive. So that's on Saturday, the 18th.
Wow, this feels so light. And yeah, it does feel like adults are gonna connect to their inner child and then be more playful and joyful, and remember that this life, this human existence that we experiencing ourselves as is such a treasure. It's such a treat to be human. It's such a joy. So to have the child of the eyes of a child again, and to like just be more open to it, that feels like something that's going to flow through in your session. That's what I'm picking up. So, and I look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you at the New Living Expo.
Me too. I love meeting in person. It is so
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, JJ, thank you so much for this time together. I know I'm going to integrate it deeply, and I know everyone here is going to feel it and receive it into their hearts. So thank you for spending this time with us.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste.